Hey there, welcome back. Kim Abbas here, owner and founder of Unity Blend, an online boutique, and also an active seller and buyer on the app called Poshmark. So in the previous two videos, we talked about some effective strategies for you to use so that you could showcase your listings and hopefully sell them much quicker. This last tip that I want to share with you is really going to make a huge impact on your closet overall in terms of aesthetic, style, tone, and really is what makes the strongest impression on potential customers, and that is taking high quality photos on a very limited budget. So let's talk a little bit about taking these photos. When you take really great photos, other poshers want to share your closet. So I'll be honest with you. If someone shares 10 of my items, I get excited. I'm like, wow, that was really nice of them to share 10 of my listings. So then I go into their closet and I see a lot of dark pictures. Things are out of focus. The backgrounds are really busy or messy. They're using things like their flash. It just doesn't really translate well, and I then struggle to find items that I do want to share with my followers. So that's just a piece of honest feedback. It doesn't mean I don't share those listings, but I'm definitely less enthusiastic to do so, and I know I'm not the only one. First thing is you want to pay careful attention to the lighting you're using. So natural light is really the easiest way to go. It's also the cheapest because you don't have to pay for sunlight. So using natural light is something that you can utilize in your home, in your apartment. Maybe there is a specific time of day where you have some nice light coming in through a window. Typically, best times are early in the morning or late afternoon, but it really just depends on where the windows are facing. But this is a great time for you to utilize that natural light. It makes the hugest difference, and it also more accurately reflects the color of the items that you're trying to sell. When you're using natural light, it's also important that you're using a really clean background, which I'll talk about in just a second. Now, going back to the natural light, I have a lot of people that are that have asked me questions and said, well, I see that natural light isn't really important. However, in my home or my apartment, I really don't get good lighting anywhere, and that could definitely be the situation for you. So if that is the case, some other ways around that might be to take some photos outside, again in natural light. You want to avoid doing it in the middle of the day when the light is most direct and at its harshest. It'll really wash out your pictures. So again, early morning, late afternoon, when the sun is more diffused, that light is indirect, is going to be the more ideal time. You might also want to look at taking pictures of your items at a friend's house, a relative's house, anyone that has some really nice natural light. There are definitely some affordable studio lights or studio kits even that you can purchase through Amazon. That wasn't something that I initially invested in because I was just starting out and I didn't want to spend a lot of money right up front. But if you're willing to spend a little under, I would say $100, you can probably get one of those kits for, depending on the quality, depending on what it comes with, anywhere from maybe $50 on up to several hundred. And they will provide usually 3 lights as well as a backdrop, an umbrella that you can use so that you're not really restricted in terms of the time of day that you want to take those pictures. But I find that most people don't really want to invest in something like that, especially right off the bat, and I totally understand that. That's why I highly recommend you utilize your natural light if you can. One of the things you don't want to do when it comes to lighting is using your flash. Don't do it. It doesn't look good. If anything, it blurs everything else. The background is really dark, and then there's just this huge flash of light on the actual item you're trying to sell. So it doesn't really showcase very well. It doesn't look very professional. We're not professional photographers and nobody expects you to be, but I'm just giving you a really simple don't use your flash. And mind you, anything that I'm talking about when it comes to photography and using natural light, you can do all on your actual cell phone. So your camera phones, they've come so far and really are top notch. So if you don't have like a professional camera or semi-professional camera, don't sweat it. You don't have to invest in that. Your camera phone will definitely do the trick. Do use things like, for example, items that emphasize your closet or aesthetic. So for example, some things that I've used in the past, things like a really pretty vase. If you've got a flat lay of clothes that you're taking a picture of and it needs a little pop of color to add some interest, maybe adding a necklace. I would definitely advise you to check around your house. Don't go overboard and feel like you have to spend a lot of money like a Hobby Lobby or something. I promise you, you will have things just laying around that you can utilize, and that is definitely something that'll add and enhance your photo. But along with that, you don't want to overdo it, so don't clutter your photos either. I come across some really stylized photos, but it's hard to figure out what exactly that person is selling. Are they selling the skirt? Are they selling the blazer? Are they selling the top? Are they selling the shoes? Or are they selling the necklace? You add too much stuff and it just becomes information overload. You want to make it easy for the customer to identify what it is you're selling. You just want to make that picture as attractive as possible. So as much as I talk about adding an item or a piece to help enhance the video, don't overdo it either, because usually less is definitely more. What else is also very helpful is using contrasting backgrounds. So for example, if you have a pair of dark leather boots, it probably is not a good idea to take a picture of those boots on a dark wooden floor, because it's going to be hard to really identify the shape. It's not going to pop. So keep those things in mind. You want to add a splash of color. Be very careful when you're using things like your floor, especially if it's dark. If it's a tile floor, if it looks dirty, I would advise doing that. I would advise against you using that as well. Please don't take pictures of things lying on your bed with clothes all over the place, or with these crazy backgrounds like your bathroom. Unless you're trying to take a really good selfie, it doesn't really enhance the photo, and leaves the impression, I feel like, to the buyer that maybe you're not taking as much pride and care in the clothes that you're actually trying to sell. So we talked a little bit about the contrasting background. Speaking of that, I have a really simple and effective trick that you can all use. You can implement it today. I use a either poster board, white poster board, or like foam board. And all I had to do was go to any place that sells office supplies and school supplies, like your Walmart, Office Depot, CVS, Walgreens. All of those places sell those poster boards. They don't crease, they don't wrinkle, and they're fantastic for flat lay photography. When I say flat lay, I mean basically that you're laying your items on the floor with the poster board in the backdrop, and you're taking a picture right above it. So it really makes everything come out clean and natural. The lighting looks really, really great. I mean, just using that white poster board alone will make a huge difference. So I would highly recommend you invest in one of those. I mean, when we talk about invest, it's like less than $1 usually. Another really cheap trick that you could use, again, this was just something that I kind of happened upon. We moved a while back, and I had a lot of wrapping or moving paper left over from the U-Haul store. So it comes in one of these boxes right here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's wrapping paper. That's it. And they come in these bulks, but it's really cheap. And I've used that even as my backdrop before, and it comes out great. It's cheap, it's clean, it doesn't, you know, it looks really smooth. It's a really great surface to use. And in addition, it's kind of dual purpose, because not only do I use this sometimes for my flat lays, I use it to wrap my gifts, and wrap my my purchases to my customers too. So it's dual purpose. I love that. I'm all about, you know, working on a budget and making it go as long as I can. This is it right here. And it comes in different sizes. It's pretty lightweight, so it certainly won't weigh down your package. And then if you want an idea of what the poster board looks like. This is it right here. Now this one's pretty beat up and worn. I've used it so many times. I'll have to invest in a new one, but it's 3-paneled. Again, something that you could invest in at your local CVS, and it does wonders for your flat lay photography. Now in the situation where maybe you're not interested in doing flat lay photography because you just don't want to stylize the listings that much, you can also just use your wall. As long as the wall color is a neutral color and it doesn't conflict or is too busy, like wallpaper, I would advise not using that. But if it's a simple solid color, then you can definitely use your wall. Just stick a nail in the wall or even a thumbtack, as I've done before, and hang the item that way and take a nice full frontal shot of that item. It's about it being clean, crisp, and easy to read for your customer. My advice though, if you are going to use something like hanging an item on your wall, really be mindful of the hangers that you're using. I know that this is probably just maybe it's just me, but I hate wire hangers. And we've all used them before, but when it comes to making a really strong first impression, this doesn't really do it. I have seen amazing designer dresses, like a Kate Spade party dress, for example, that was hung on one of these hangers haphazardly on a doorknob, and it was so crooked, and I just felt like, oh, that's such a missed opportunity. I want to help that girl so much. That's an amazing dress. Use a wooden hanger. So in addition to just using some of these tips and tricks that I've suggested, another thing when it comes to your listings and photographs, do not use just 1 or 2 photos. It's just not enough. You really want to use, I would say, a minimum of 4, maybe 5 or 6, just depending on the item. And so when you do this, make sure that you're taking pictures at different angles. For example, perhaps for the cover photo, it's a full shot, front shot of the item itself. Then you want to take a side picture, the back, especially if there's any detailing on the back, right? Like maybe some nice bows that you want to showcase. And then I would definitely suggest you doing a close-up, something that really allows the potential customer to see the detail or maybe the material. And if possible, it's always nice to have someone model the outfit. I can't always model the clothes because I don't fit them. And so in that particular situation, I use a mannequin. But you may not want to invest in a mannequin right up front, and that's okay. That's where using the hangers or the flat lays can really come into play. I would say at some point, if you look to get more and more serious about Poshmark, investing in a mannequin is definitely the way to go, and they're not that expensive. You can certainly find some that are affordable through Amazon, for example. I think I might have spent $40 on mine. Don't use the Poshmark filters. I love Poshmark. I think there's a lot of features and benefits to the app, otherwise I wouldn't be on it. But I will say the one area that I'm not really crazy about are those filters. I don't think they enhance the photo. If anything, they seem to darken them. There can be some discoloration, and so if a client buys something thinking that it's one color and then they receive it, it's a different color, that's usually very disappointing for them. And again, that's why the use of natural light is so important. If you're really wanting to use filters, I would suggest you download an app to your phone. I'll be sure to include links to those apps in case you want to experiment with them and download them to your phone to use them whenever you list your items. At the end of the day, what this all amounts to is you being able to really move your inventory faster, right? You want to sell these listings as quickly as possible. I'm not saying that all of these tips are going to ensure that you're going to sell these items tomorrow, but it will definitely help. Remember that the better photos that you have, the more shares you're going to get. The more shares you're going to get, the higher the likelihood that you're going to sell that item, because it is all about exposure. When other postures see closets and with listings that the quality of the photos just don't look very good, it's just less enticing for us to want to share. That's the bottom line. If you've got a really great design aesthetic, or at least your photos are clean and clear, great. We want to share those items all day long. I hope this lesson helped you in terms of just some practical tips and tricks that you can begin utilizing right away. I know it's not all encompassing and you probably still have a lot of questions, and I still have a lot of information in my brain that I haven't even shared with you, but be sure to follow up with me with any additional questions that you do have. For any of you postures out there that are watching this that know I might have failed to mention something and there's some additional feedback that you want to give, please add that as well. Give a thumbs up on this video if you found it helpful, and be sure to follow me on Poshmark. As always, you follow me, I promise I will follow you and share your closet, because together we can be successful. I hope you enjoyed this, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks so much.